Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
We are now approaching maybe the most packed wrestling weekend that rivals, I guess, WrestleMania. But at some cases, you could say probably has more content than WrestleMania. But let's be quite honest, because of the fact that we have WWE putting on 3 PLEs this weekend. Well, technically, one's a simulcast for NBC. They have NXT Great American Bash, which is going to be a matinee show on Saturday. They have Saturday night's main event coming for you from Atlanta at 8 o'clock. And then the next night, they are presenting the second edition of Evolution. And unfortunately, that show, I feel like, has been an afterthought with the booking. We'll get more to that later when we preview the show. But
boring. Oh, Homer, how dare you?
But he's right.
Yeah, it is kind of right.
But if we talk about the major show of the weekend, it has to go to the equivalent of WrestleMania for All Elite Wrestling, as they will be presenting All in Texas at Global Life Stadium, the home of the Texas Rangers. And also, they have hit the 20,000 mark. So something that some of us were saying 3 or 4 months ago may have been a long shot at best. They have crossed that finish line, and now 20,000 will be in the stadium at Global Life in Arlington, Texas, in a stadium that holds a capacity of 40. But 20,000 nonetheless. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are listening to PWW Talks. I am your host, Daniel Burke, and I am joined by my best friend of over 20 years and my unreal co-host of this program.
Wow, Homer's rude tonight. Shit.
He is just a prick. Just a prick on wheels tonight. What did I do to you, Homer?
No, he's booing me. You say my name, so he's booing me.
Yeah,
no,
like
I will
self-appreciate
me. I will self-appreciate myself. I mean, I run the board, but still. Yeah, it's a packed weekend. I'm already tired this week from other things going on, just work and my personal life. And I got to be honest, man, I'm looking ahead to this weekend, and let's just start tomorrow, really, because we start with SmackDown on a Friday night. We're recording on a Thursday.
Ah, yes,
and
that's true.
So technically, it's 5 shows in 3 days.
5 and 3, yes. Also, Collision, I think, is taking place tonight as we speak, being recorded or being broadcast live.
Probably true, yeah. So
yes, so it has been. We're in a 7-day wrestling
so hold on a
cycle
second.
this
if
week.
That's the case, is Collision the overrun? Oh man, I just it's gonna be a long weekend. I'll say that.
It's gonna be a long weekend.
I'm glad I took Monday off because holy shit.
God damn, I gotta go to work on Monday. But you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Because as Homer Simpson says, you don't like your job, you don't strike. You just do it really half-ass. That's the American way.
You know what else is the American way?
What? Smoke. Yeah. There'll be a lot of that this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get through these shows. My God. Because it is, for the first time ever, I believe I will be purchasing, or we will be purchasing together. We haven't figured out the logistics of it. I know he'll be coming here to watch it. We'll X-nay. Who knows?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right. You might be somewhere else. You might be in Texas. For all I know, I might be somewhere else. I don't know. Right? Who knows, right? It's his point.
So hold on a second. I want to mention something that I had mentioned in the chat with one of our other friends, actually.
Yes.
So I was watching the Red Sox over the weekend. I was actually in Massachusetts with my parents to hang out. Just, long weekend. It was already a long weekend anyways, because we also got released early on Friday at my job. So I decided to, make the trip up, hang out with my parents, see them for a long weekend and everything. It had been a little bit over a month since I'd seen them at this point. My father is very big into baseball at this point. His father, my grandfather, was very much in love with the Red Sox, so it became kind of a passion for my father after that. So we're watching a few of the games. I think it was Sunday we were watching the Red Sox and the Nats. It was a 4:00 game, if I remember correctly, and that stadium in DC was like half empty. It literally got to the point where I almost said to him, "You want to go for a drive for tomorrow's 1:00 game?" So 1:00 Sunday rolls around. Stadium was half empty again, and he said to me, he goes, "We should have made the drive. Should have made the drive."
Especially with all these ticket apps, you're probably going to get a really good deal.
Well, apparently he looked it up. I didn't get too far. I just looked at like that game specifically, not like day of tickets or anything like that, but just on like Ticketmaster. And it was like $100 or something like that, which isn't bad for a MLB game. It's not bad.
No.
He found it though that if you went there live on the day of, it would have been like $40.
Yep.
And I believe it because the Nats are not a good team. Sorry, not sorry.
No. They got
mauled. They got swept all weekend by the Red Sox that weekend.
Oh, so. The same way the Red Sox have been just teeing off on these AA lineups between the Nationals and the Rockies this week.
I mentioned this too in that same chat that the 98.5, the Sports Hub, basically had a guy on. I forget who it was. Basically said they're the most aggressive 500 team. They will beat up on these weaker teams, but when it comes to over 500 team, they just crater.
Even though the Ralphie Devers story, that's not aging well for him. This might actually be one of those things where the Red Sox actually look well, which is surprising considering the fact that they gave him up for nothing. But considering the fact that this guy,
man, that was it.
He did not take advice on playing first base. Did not go and sit, which I guess his excuse was, well, I didn't want to do it in front of my old team. When Will the Thrill, by the way, Will the Thrill Clark, if you're known as the Thrill, you know what the fuck you're doing when it comes to Major League Baseball. Probably one of the most underrated players of the 1980s and the 1990s. The reason why he was underrated is because of the fact that he played a position where everybody was focused on them hitting 50, 60 home runs. And he was somebody that was going to do a solid 25, 35 home runs a year, post a 320 some odd average. He's going to drive in 100 runs. He's also going to score 100 runs. He's also going to play a solid first base, like a solid defensive first base. I understand though, that's not the sexy terminology now because everybody's worried about launch angles and fucking WAR and these, like some of these things like slugging percentage plus we're talking about slugging percentage plus OBP. So it's called OPS. What? On base plus slugging, just to make the numbers higher. And this is all these nerds that got shoved in lockers when they were kids. And they went to MIT and Harvard. And instead of becoming rocket scientists, they decide, well, I'm just going to create these statistics and change Major League Baseball. And it's funny how this all was based from a team that didn't win dick as far as championships is concerned. Because everybody talked about Moneyball with the Oakland A's and how it was invented by Billy Beane and Bill James and all that type of stuff. When technically the first team to really win Moneyball was the Red Sox in 2004. It was because they even tried at the end of it. John Henry just slides him the goddamn Post-it note over, but Billy Bean decides, Brad Pitt, the movie, just decides, no, I'm going to stay in California for my daughter, where in 2 years he had to have been wanting to kick that fucking TV set in when he sees the Boston Red Sox winning the World Series. That had to have been one of those things. Like, you're watching it from the TV and you're just like, and you just kick the TV in.
You know what's funny, man?
Check the Best Buy records.
Yeah.
Check the Best Buy records for the day after the Red Sox won the World Series, wherever Billy Bean lives. Because I guarantee you, he bought a new TV within that week.
I mean, what I'll gotta say for an analogy here is this: if for those people that maybe don't watch a lot of baseball but follow it, kind of sparingly, which I would say I fall in that category as well. Watch Major League 1 and 2. And I believe it's the second one where Portman was on the Indians for a little bit.
Oh, God,
they didn't want to pay him, so he went to the Yankees and all that. It just became a terror for them until basically the last 20 minutes of the movie.
It was the White Sox.
That's right, it was the White Sox.
Yeah, the Yankees were the first one, and then the second one was the White Sox.
That's right. Yeah, my bad.
And he just killed them in that series.
Yeah, he absolutely.
He batted like 700.
Yeah.
They had like 18 home runs.
Yep. It's just that's the equivalent here. I'm just waiting for Devers to come back and absolutely destroy them.
Jake Taylor would have been fired too had Rick Vaughn gave up that fucking home run to Jack Parkman. You mean to tell me you walked the bases loaded so he could face Parkman when Parkman has killed him every time that they played each other?
Exactly.
Like Jake Taylor would have been fired before he even got into the clubhouse.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know about fired, but he definitely would have been benched the rest of the series for sure. For sure. But that's the equivalent here. I mean, you look at a guy who is paid a lot of money, who comes in, he has a prima donna attitude about certain moves that the team wants to make with him in mind, and he just kind of FOs, honestly. And
very Bobby Bonilla-esque. Same position, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, it's funny that I mentioned him, but it's like, this time of year, I'm always thinking Bobby Bonilla because he's getting that check still for. It's like your tenure with the Mets was shit, but goddamn, whoever your agent was a genius because you're like into your 60s and you're still cashing like 2.25 million every single July. It's like, oh, this is because I batted 200 that year. Who gives a shit?
I will. There's another comment on the Sports Hub that, since we're talking about baseball, I just want to talk about real quick. I don't remember if this was the Fox affiliate that they had on at the time, or if it was probably Jim Murray, honestly, because I know he talks a lot of baseball stuff. But whoever it was, basically said that baseball needs to go all in on some kind of event, ironically all in, some kind of event for July 4th. Whether that be moving the All-Star game to July 4th, moving like a home run derby to July 4th, have some kind of an event. Because if you look at these other sports, like...
They're running unopposed, technically.
That's exactly why he said it, but also look at the other sports, right? So the NHL has the Winter Classic. NFL has like 3 Thanksgiving games. Pretty sure, some of these sports, whether it be
NBA on Christmas.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Because
technically, it's not the start of the league year, but technically that is considered like opening night.
Yep.
Like for the league, at least that's when things really start. Yep. Because the NBA has kind of like an extended preseason.
Have a lot of Easter games too, anyways.
They do.
It's not like a thing. I guess is the best way to say.
No, but you're right. I think that's 100. And Joe Murray said it. I'll have to give him credit, even though I hate to. I just don't like him. It's just yeah.
What the NBA ones?
No, I just don't like Joe Murray.
Oh. I just thought this was a good comment to make, especially since it was July 4th weekend when he made it.
It's a good comment. I just don't like. So I have to give him credit if he said it. I just don't like Joe Murray. Like, like the guy's never done nothing to me. That's the problem. Like when you're in the form of media, folks, that sometimes you look at other talent that has jobs that you kind of covet or want, and you just think to yourself, I don't like him because I know I'm better than him. That's the problem. Like, that's the issue I have, because it's like you're in a top spot.
Because I'm not booked.
The drive spot. Yeah, exactly. I'm not booked. That's the problem I have. It's literally, I am Dennis Stamp when it comes to the broadcasting business, because it's like I'm not booked. And I know I can have a better match with Dory Funk Jr. than anybody else on the card. That's how I feel. I'm Dennis Stamp in this situation. Love it how I tie it into wrestling, because I look at the Boston media and I look at some of these guys, some of these Boston sports people, and I'm not going after the major ones. Like, I look at, you can't touch Toucher and Hardy. You really can't. I like Beetle and
well, the only thing I'll say about Hardy is I don't like the fact that he has a secondary show on the weekends for golf. Give the time to
golf.
Give the time slot to somebody else. I understand
it's the
that,
weekend.
but dude,
what time isn't it? Like a 7 o'clock show too?
Guys. Yeah, it's like 7:30.
It's a 7 o'clock show on a Saturday.
Give the slot to somebody else.
If he's gonna, they probably the thing about it is though, and I hate to kind of bring in the inside lore into radio, because I was in it for a few years and I know how this shit goes. That's probably a paid spot by one of the golf course people, or the company. And this is the time of year that they spend the most money, especially with radio, because they do these promotions up the yin yang where it's just like, oh, get the golf card for the year. And you can go to all these places, and it's 150, and it's just, and that's big revenue for the radio stations. So I think that
so hold on a second.
That is a paid show.
Hold on a second.
So to speak.
If that's the case, that's fine. But why not have it somewhere on a Friday instead of doing baseball reporters? Have them do that. Give the slot to somebody else. He's a top guy. He doesn't need that. And I 100% understand where you're going with that. But again, it's a Saturday show. You have Weekend Warrior staff. Do with that. Have them on instead.
The problem is
booking the other guys in WWE that we talk about all week.
If the sponsor says they want Hardy, they get Hardy.
That's radio, and that's fair. I 100% understand that.
That's how it is.
But I don't think it needs to be a Saturday. That's my only.
No, I completely get it. But a lot of them too, like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on a Saturday.
I don't even
really is.
I don't even know, but I don't think it's that long.
Well, I'm just saying that block.
I understand.
Because technically, 6 to 10 during the weekday is drive time. That's one of the big revenue makers for your station. It's usually between 6 and 10, and then 3 and 7, because those are considered the drive in and the drive home.
Yep.
And so, but on the weekends, it's like they're playing public affairs shows at 6 a.m. So that's when they get their FCC mandated programming out of the way, which is either local programming or some kind of sponsored spot or something like that. So technically, if they talk about sports and if they talk about it in their educational way, could count in their book for their FCC guideline, which I was technically the public affairs director when I was for my radios, because when I took over the AM station, kind of was their, which I didn't take it over, like I was the co-person that took over. I was the on-air talent. They had one on-air talent and then two, but then they were like, so we got to do this FCC kind of thing where it's public affairs. We got to do it like during this hour, we have to play it, and it's kind of like informational. So when I got that position, it's just like when I took over the AM drives position, they're just like, so you're going to do that too? And I'm just like, what the hell does it? What like? Because I have to book guests, and it's just like, oh, you just put them on the air, and they just talk about stuff. It's like, so I ask them things. Like that was kind of like my. But still, when I took this gig a few years back, it was still kind of a because again I hadn't done it for so long. But there was that year and a half period where it was just like I'm sitting there and I'm like, so you're a cop, huh? Like so. So sleep apnea. So what exactly is that? Like just having to do these and then some people would come in and be like, so yeah, we're having this bazaar for the church. And I'm just like, that's great. So what's going to be on the white elephant table? Like that's my, and because again, folks, when I'm on this program, I'm pretty much a wealth of information when it comes to professional wrestling, a self-proclaimed professor at times, and at the same time, we do dick jokes. I'm not supposed to be talking about church bazaars and talking about social activities in the city of Hartford that can better represent like culture and neighbor. It's like
because I'm not booked.
I'm out of my element here. Like
because I'm not booked.
So that's the long form answer of why Hardy is probably doing the golf show is because it's probably paid for by the sponsor. The sponsor is just like,
no, 100% is. I don't listen to Hardy's golf show much, if at all. I've maybe caught it sparingly over the years, like maybe 3 to 4 times at most, honestly. And I believe it's only during golf season, if anything. But I caught like it very briefly this weekend. Last time I heard it, he definitely was getting like sponsorships to do it, whether it be I think local golf courses, I believe, maybe a local golf pro, stuff like
Hardy
that.
has not probably had to pay for a tee time, equipment, or food or drink at a golf club in years for doing this.
Probably not.
So I'm sure he is fine with doing it. Like it's not a task of
like you said, it's pre-recorded. Like let's be real.
It's got to be pre-recorded.
He's not going in at 6 a.m. I just, again, he was doing this before he was even hosting or co-hosting with Fred Toucher. So I mean, he's been doing this for a while. I just, again, try to give it to an established guy. If people are paying him specifically to do it and not others, I understand that. I just think also it's a weird slot. If you're waking up early for a tea time, it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Hardy is also someone that should also be praised and talked about because of his ability to stay with that. It's him and Fred are that last bastion of the old BCN days. Especially Hardy.
Not actually. Adam 12 is one of the producers now over there.
Adam 12 is one of the producers. That's true. But as far as on air,
no, he actually will be on air occasionally. If somebody is out.
Oh, that's true.
So
I haven't heard Adam on there.
Yeah, last week it was, I think, him and Joe Murray, I believe, filling in for Fred and Hardy. So he does do on air, but typically he is in a producer role. Yes.
Which I love it. Too, with the negative aspects that Fred gets, I think that as time has gone on and things of that nature, Fred's kind of been vindicated with a lot of things. And I think that, and I always liked Fred more than Rich, to be quite honest. So it's like, I always try to defend Rich too. I liked Rich, but at the same time, as time has gone on with this,
to defend. I will say that. I'm sorry.
It's now to the point of, it's like, I think Fred's vindicated and people need to kind of get off his ass. Like he broke that up because the show is still extremely successful. I think it's just as good, if not great, because I like Hardy. Hardy's great. And yes, I do miss but the problem with everybody needs to say, and that's the thing about, and it's the same thing with the Stern Show and the Opie and Anthony Show too. Some of the best parts of old great radio shows is not exactly the on-air talent. What somewhat is memorable is the side characters. And especially you're talking about with the Toucher and Rich, you're talking about Adolfo and Chili Guy and the great Crash.
I really miss Crash Clark. Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, with regard specifically to that show, because I think, we've talked about Boston radio enough. For me, it got to a point where I think Rich felt he was carrying the show, especially towards the end when Fred was going through a lot of his issues. And I think it is 100% understandable to feel that way. My issue with it, though, is that Rich kind of tried to throw him under the bus about it. And a lot of it, I feel like.
A lot of it.
And I think he has every right to feel that way, but why not talk to Fred about it? It just, I think it became less of a friendship and more of a business arrangement for Rich. Which, again, he is entitled to feel how he is going to feel, but I think maybe had they just hashed it out, it probably wouldn't have gone the way it did. Because, let's be real, his wife got awesome medical treatment because of the station and where he was at the station.
Yes.
And for those that don't know about that, I'm just going to say look it up because we're not going to rehash Rich certainly, but his wife's medical issues, but there were quite a few. And Rich, I think, was very fortunate to be part of that station and be in the position he was in to get great medical care for him and his wife during that time. And
he was not in a position to play hardball either. If you're in this and you're in the business, if you're in this business now, you can't play hardball.
Well, I mean, look at what happened when he did. So.
You just can't. You can't play hardball anymore. It's the talent is there. Don't get me wrong. The talent is there. The talent is for people to take a look at and also to take a risk on now in this industry because let's face it, people want the industry wants safe. They want the same thing. They want what sells and they don't want to take risks. And I get it because they've been sued enough. They've been FCC up the ass and they don't want to take risks. But at the same time, the talent needs to understand that there aren't many spots anymore where people are going to get paid. And if you have one bad thing now, your career is virtually over. And I think that's Rich's problem.
Well, it is now.
And it is now.
I don't think it was when he left, but that after that trial run of his show, but I would say he falls into that category now 100%.
Because he could have tried to go to Barstool, right? Could have. I don't think it would have worked, but he could have tried. And now
I think he would have had a very successful podcast if he went and did that.
But he didn't.
I know.
And that I think is, but I also, he might have done okay. They also should have, what they really should have done was try to get him and Minahan working together and see if that could have worked. But because that would have brought some intrigue. Because you have the old kind of holdover from the Dennis and Callahan show, and now the Toucher and Rich show. It's like that would be an interesting kind of combination, especially on that platform. Because if you're an FM station, talk radio, Kirk Minahan, you could not employ. He is unemployable. He is only good for talk podcasts. That's it. He's just somebody you cannot employ and take a risk on in any type of format terrestrial radio. You just can't. So, I would be remiss not to, I do have to throw this out there to close this out. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I do want to close this out, at least on Boston Radio. Rest in peace, Lyndon Byers.
Yeah,
61
that was so sad.
grueling years.
Yeah, that was so sad. And listen, I don't know if he was overcome by fumes or anything like that, but for those that don't know who Lyndon Byers is, he also not only was very famous from the Greg Hillman morning show on WAAF for a number of years, but he also played for the Bruins for a number of years as well as the Sharks, I believe.
Over
And
1,000 penalty minutes.
yep, over 1,000 penalty minutes. And if you do not understand the Overcome by Fumes reference, please Google Lyndon Byers Overcome by Fumes, and you will laugh hysterically.
The a true treasure in the local mania market, but also especially with the Bruins. He was beloved because this city loves someone. They either love somebody that scores a lot of goals, or they love somebody that goes out there and just murders people, and that's what he did. He also, up until the 2001, up until they went back to the Cup in 2011, he was the last person to score for the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup Finals, up until 2011. He always mentioned, he always would throw that out there, that he was the last person to score for the Bruins in a Stanley Cup Finals, because he could say that for so long, because they're going to go back for like 20 years.
That's why it's funny, and that's why it worked.
It did. And it's rough to hear that he passed away at 61. I did think of my brother. I did think of my brother, because he probably saw him and he's just like, how the fuck did I beat you up here? Like,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
he probably, what's the first thing he said?
If not, it was definitely the second.
Oh,
for sure.
God. He's just, well, yeah, the first thing was, are you fucking LB? How the fuck did I beat you up here?
Yeah.
Like, literally, that would be the goddamn. Oh, God. Some big bar in the sky they're both at right now, having a drink and a laugh. He's just holding court in his Bruins jersey and like jeans. Yeah, I'm up there. Hey, guy, what's up?
Listen, if I would not be surprised if that was happening, honestly.
That's exactly what's happening. Like, he's just up there, and no one fights in heaven, so he's just up there. Who knows? I'm sure
they probably fight. Probably doesn't even hurt,
it
happening.
doesn't.
It's happening.
And they get thrown out for a day, and then they come back the next. Did you learn your lesson? Yeah, of course they did. 3 hours later, God damn it, shit. So I guess we could stop talking about local sports.
Yeah, it's funny.
They're
started
probably just like, you got to be kidding.
Well, it's funny when we're talking about Rich. You made a comment about taking risks, and I feel like if we focus on AEW first, it's technically the first show that will probably be on, and also we could focus on AEW first and switch to the WWE shows. I think there's a lot of risks being taken for this show.
I mean, there is, but also at the same time, I look at this and I think to myself, if I am trying to make this the biggest show of the year for my show, this is as good as I could possibly get. As far as the talent is concerned, as far as who's involved, as far as the matchmaking is concerned, I think that this is as good as you could possibly get for a major show for All Elite Wrestling. Maybe in placement of you could slot out Will Ospreay or Swerve Strickland in the main event against John Moxley, but Adam Page is especially for the work he has put in the last year and a half, the work with Swerve Strickland and the work that he has kind of turned this thing around and made himself now one of the most valuable baby faces, not only in AEW, but in professional wrestling, as far as I'm concerned. A different kind of baby face, but a baby face nonetheless that I feel like people can get behind. He's someone that, especially of that passionate AEW universe, is now going to be, and God, they're probably pissed I said that, but fucking forgive me, all right? That passionate AEW fan base, you're welcome, okay? But look, hey, we're leading off talking about your show, and also we're talking in a mostly positive manner because I'm looking at this card, and yeah, I don't know who's going to be in the two gauntlet matches, but at the same time, I feel like everything else is solid. It is a solid card, especially your top three matches. You really can't get better. You even say top four matches with who's involved against the Young Bucks, especially with that stakes on the line as well.
I wasn't even going to say that. I'm thinking. So let's just go through it, right? We're not going to do match by match. We'll be here all night if we do, because it's 4 shows. But I'll read them off. We can kind of discuss them as we go. So I'm going to go in reverse order from what's on Wikipedia, if you're following along with that before the show. So top to bottom, we have a 3-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are your champions against Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey, as well as the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, and Nick Wayne. The AEW TNT Championship, Adam Cole, champion, defends against Kyle Fletcher. Another tag team match is Swerve and Will Ospreay that you just mentioned against the Young Bucks. The stipulation for this match is if Ospreay and Strickland lose, they cannot challenge for the AEW World Tag Team Championship for 1 year, which makes no sense because the Bucks are not champions.
Yeah.
If the Bucks lose, however, they will be stripped of their EVP titles. As Dan mentioned, we have no idea who is in the next 2 matches, but there is a men's and women's casino gauntlet match.
We know MJF for sure is in the men's.
Yep. Which is okay. It's like the only one we know. In either match, women or men, they will receive a AEW World Championship or AEW Women's World Championship, respectively. They will receive that match. It does not say when. After those match, again, following along with Wikipedia, it is Okada versus Omega. Okada is the Continental Champion. Omega is the International Champion.
It says
Winner
here on it
takes
is a
all.
unification match, but it is not considered a unification match according to Tony Khan.
Then why does it say winner take all?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've heard conflicting things, but yes, I am looking at it exactly like you are. So I know you're not lying.
Oh,
And,
I know.
I'm also backing you up too on sources and saying 2 people are looking at this right now, and that's exactly what we're saying.
Well, this has also
So-
been announced previously, so then he comes out later and announces that it's not. So
He said in
who's to say?
pressers. So yeah, it's one of those deals of we're not going to know until the night of the show or probably 3 weeks
Probably.
later.
Probably.
But anyway, semantics.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I didn't know this was announced for this. The next match, I will announce it this way, and I'll say it why in a few minutes. The next match on Wikipedia is Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. It is apparently a Texas death match for the AEW World Championship. The next match... Go ahead, what were you saying? Sorry.
I need to say this now because I'm watching current, because in the background I have wrestling stuff in the background.
Of course.
They have a mixtape of full matches and stuff of Bret Hart right now in WWE Vaults. It's like 4 hours long, and they just are now playing the El Dandy promo.
That's awesome.
They know their job.
They know their job.
They know
100%.
their job, and they do it well.
El Dandy is over.
Great job, WWE Vault. Great job.
Yep. And the last match, I'm announcing this way because, again, first of all, it is on Wikipedia this way if you went from bottom to top. But also, I think this is also a very strong contender for the main event. It is Timeless Tony Storm against Mercedes Moné for the AEW Women's World Championship. So
I wonder what will close is the question.
Listen, I think any of those last 3 matches have a very, very good shot.
Tony is in a position right now where he can right the ship. I feel like the last few months that he has been able to right the ship.
So can I say something to that
Yes.
point? Like 100% to that point, and I'm glad you said it that way, because we have had this conversation both together and with
Boo ran.
that guy,
Yes.
that if Moxley wins or Mercedes Moné wins, that is not righting the ship.
No. However, one can win, one cannot. They cannot both win, but one can win.
I I I have to disagree personally. I understand the sentiment. I don't hate the sentiment, but I just feel like
If I have to give up one, I would take Hangman winning the title over Mercedes, over Tony Storm winning.
well,
Like that's my, you have to get the belt off Moxley. Like there's no, it's not a need.
I
It
don't
is a
disagree.
must.
I don't disagree, but here's the problem. And you said this about Hangman Adam Page. I'm going to say the same thing about Timeless Tony Storm. In terms of women wrestling, whether it be with AEW or in the world, I think Tony is at very close to the top. I'll say it that way. She might not be the top because of how popular someone like, we'll just say Rhea Ripley is. We'll talk about her later on when we get to Evolution, but I think Timeless Tony Storm is very, very close. And I think having her drop the belt to Mercedes Moné, who already has a million belts at this point, I just cringe.
Where
I don't
else
disagree with
can
your
she
point
go?
about Moxley, though. I don't know.
You know, it's like, and I'm talking about Mercedes.
Oh,
It's
I know
like,
what you're talking about.
where else can you take her? And I get the point of view of, you know, she's gotta have everything. I get that. And I understand that. You don't need to. You don't need to. Why don't you give it to Tony? Why don't you give it to Hangman both in the same night and make it a really a super babyface show? Have it a good ending. Why don't we do that? Your major show sometimes, I understand, needs to end kind of on a downer. The last 6 months, no. The last 9 months, your pay-per-views and some of your major television shows have ended on a downer, either with Jon Moxley winning or with Mercedes retaining or whatever.
Well, so that's a great analogy, right? So all of these shows have ended on a downer. This is your biggest show of your entire pay-per-view PLE season, right? Look at what WWE did this year with WrestleMania and how that ended. Do you
Don't
want
be like
to
them.
go that route?
No.
Exactly. So for me, if what you're saying is how this should go, then because I'm not going to disagree with you. I 100% think Hangman needs to take the belt off Moxley. I think that needs to happen maybe more than Tony winning, and I can see that. I don't like that, but I can see it. So under that situation, I think Hangman and Moxley need to end the show,
Yes.
and they need to take the belt off Moxley. That's how that should go down, because you do not want to end on a downer again.
You cannot end the show with Moxley retaining or Mercedes retaining or
Mercedes
winning.
would winning, yeah.
Yeah. You can't have that. You just can't, because there's still enough people in your audience that are never going to appreciate them, or they're just tired of them. They are sick of them. A lot of people are sick of Moxley. They've been done with Moxley since the beginning. They've been done with Moxley for months. You have the opportunity now. You built up Hangman, and trust me, there were a lot of people, including myself, that were like, you got to build up a new star to take him on and take the belt off him and make it a big and meaningful moment. But you did it with Hangman. You now have him in a prime position to be a beloved top babyface and somebody that actually could carry a company. So from that perspective, it worked out. It's going to work out. Mercedes, beating Tony Storm, if that's the route you're going to go, you cannot have it end your show. And if you're going to have Mercedes win the title from Tony Storm, and God forbid, Tony, if you have John Moxley retain, you better have Okada and Kenny Omega close your show, because that is the only goddamn way that people are going to be able to leave that show in a peaceful and nice manner.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, no one is going to care who wins or loses that match. They'll just be happy they witnessed it.
Exactly. You have an opportunity now with Okada and Omega where no one cares who wins. Either way, they're going to be psyched for the match. The moment the bell rings, they're just going to be chanting, holy shit, and blah, 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 blah. This is awesome. That's how that audience is. And I get it. I'm going to hear the bell ring, and I'm probably going to get getting goosebumps. I'm built up for this match.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be buying the show this weekend because I'm built up for this match.
Yep.
Yes, I understand. I've come onto this program and I've told you it's 7 years after they fought. I get all that. But it's still Okada and Omega.
Yeah, do you care?
You don't.
No, they could still go. It's gonna be a different style of match probably at this point, but it's still gonna be very good.
They're not going to go 120 miles an hour, but they're going to go at least 80 to 85.
I should have told me I would have had 88 miles per hour from Back to the Future. That was one you should have
He's just going to look and say, when this thing gets 88 miles per hour.
But yeah, listen, I think at the end of the day, it'll be a good show. I hope some of the booking decisions work and make sense, and I hope people leave happy. The one thing I would say is I think the Casino Gauntlet matches are a very good opportunity for certain stars to return.
Mm-hmm.
And whether they win or lose, it doesn't matter as long as you insert some kind of mystique into that. I think it'll work. But we shall see. I don't know that there's much else to talk about with All In at this point, though.
I do not. I feel like we have reached a point kind of, we can now be like, hey, at least now we could be like, all right, we gave you a quota.
I mean, it's the biggest show of the year for them.
Kidding, folks.
No, I think there's a point though. Like, it's the biggest show of the year for them. We should give them their due diligence. I know there's times that we don't, but I think this is one that it like you said, it's a decent card. It's a card that a lot of people can probably get excited about.
They put a lot of time into this. I think Tony's done a hell of a job trying to build this up. I'm real proud of them to be able to hit the 20,000 mark. That was a big accomplishment, especially from at the beginning of the year when it was just like, oh, this thing looks hopeless. They really pulled it together, and they really also, no matter how they did it, I'm not going to sit here and judge. I'm not going to sit here and critique. 20,000 in the United States, today's wrestling market, the way everything's been, it's a very good accomplishment if you're not considered WWE. And I think they realize, hey, you know what? We might not be WWE. Maybe we chose to fly too close to the sun at certain points. But at the same time, we can be able to direct and keep a good fan base and they've been able to do that. Yeah, they've lost viewership, but they've also been able to maintain, which in today's market, all right, yeah, I'll take your 600,000 every week, like that's fine. That's solid. And they're cheap to kind of produce. I mean, they're not paying much really to kind of get them compared to other sports. Like you got the NBA, Major League Baseball, they're going to make billions and billions of dollars a year. AEW is making barely 160, 175 million. Cheap to produce. But Tony has been able, at least, to get the best, I think, out of his talent And also, he has been able to produce compelling television and make people care enough to want to be able to go to the show nonetheless, but also for people that have never decided to give you a dime, at least in the last couple of years, because certain things, now they're interested in watching your show. So I guess good on you, kid. You did pretty well.
I mean, listen, there's rumors that going to make a couple signings over the next couple of weeks as well, and certain people have been at the shows. But speaking of people being at shows,
is it really a big deal with free agency anymore? Like, are there any big ones now that you just sit there and you're just like?
I mean, one is Isla Dawn. I think Isla Dawn got a bad rap in WWE for whatever reason. She might sign.
I mean, yeah, that's good. I mean, but I'm talking like major free agents.
I mean, other than her, not really. And I understand why you wouldn't think she's a major acquisition.
No, I'm not trying to demean
she's
her.
not a CM Punk signing. I get it.
It's just exactly. It's just like, okay, like she'll probably get used well for a few months, and then
that's true.
Is she going to end up like Deonna Purrazzo? Like, I feel bad for like Deonna Purrazzo, who pretty much has just been like, I'll be in catering.
Well, speaking of catering, ironically enough, what I was going to say before, as we move into NXT and Atlanta for the remainder of the next 3 shows, one of not so much a signing, but apparently Shayna Baszler has a backstage role in NXT now, from what I read.
I also heard that she was had confirmed in her Twitch stream that she was there kind of visiting people and kind of helping out. And she was put on a credit, but I don't know if she said that if she's working for the company or whatnot.
I've read that it's a producer role, but I'm not 100% sure if that's maybe what you had said or what.
That's what I had. That's what she had said through her Twitch or something.
Right.
That like she was there to kind of help somebody out at the like training wise, and then they I don't know. Like she kind of confirmed she was there, but unconfirmed. Like who knows?
Right. Who knows? All right. So a few hours away, flying distance from where All In will take place. Again, we are in Atlanta. At the same time as All In will be the NXT Great American Bash. So again, looking at Wikipedia, we'll go bottom from the top, just because that's also how it's in the importance role, I feel like, too. The first match is just a regular singles match. It's Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. Next match is for the NXT North American Championship. It is a Falls Count Anywhere. Is Ethan Page defending against Ricky Saints. I almost said Ricky Starks. In NXT, Ricky Saints was also on Cody's podcast this week, too.
Yes, he was.
NXT Women's North American Championship, Sol Ruka will defend against Izzy Dame. It is also a tag team match. Speaking of previous talent of AEW, Blake Monroe will tag with Jordan Grace against Fatal Influence, which will be JC Jane and Fallon Henley. And for the NXT Championship, Oba Femi will defend against Yoshiki Inamura. I hope I did not butcher that. With Josh Briggs. I think for an NXT show, this is a good card. It's NXT shows, I hate to say it, been better than the regular roster shows. Sorry.
That's a bad word.
Sorry.
I'd say that.
I think they've been solid, honestly.
Yes.
I think it'll be better than Saturday Night Main Event, too. When we
Yes,
talk about that. Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
I mean, technically, Saturday Night Main Event's not a PLE, so I can't say that.
You're saying all these negative things. My God, you're negative Nancy on this program.
I know. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. Javon Evans, Jasper Troy, I think will be a fun watch. Ethan Page, Ricky Saints. I think this is your opportunity to put the belt on Ricky Saints, call up Ethan Page. I'm going to say that now.
I agree.
I think there are quite a few people in a number of factions you could stick him in or create around him or with him even. Sol Ruka is he Dame. Sol Ruka is just a phenomenal, fun wrestler to watch. I think that'll be a great match. Blake Monroe kind of has to show up in the tag match.
Oh yeah, yep. This is going to be her showcase. That'll I'll be honest. This show is going to be kind of an afterthought, just because my focus is going to be kind of on All In that day. Their idea of counter programming.
This doesn't work. I'm sorry. If this is your counter programming, it doesn't work.
It's half-assed, to be quite honest. And also, too,
if you wanted a counter program, you should have moved. And I'm just thinking like time wise here. And
Evolution.
Everything. No, you should have moved that Australia show to this weekend, because then you could run it around the same time.
That's sure you could have.
You know, I think it would. I think it actually would be way earlier if I remember the time difference correctly. But okay, fine. Maybe do like that. What is it? Clash in Paris or whatever it's called. Maybe move that up to this month and then move something else in its place. Like, there's a number of things you could have done. If
there's no reason for it. There's just no reason.
There's
for this.
that too.
There's none.
There's that.
Like this.
Too.
They're not a threat to you anymore. They're not. They're their own thing. Let them fucking be. Who gives a shit? Like, honestly, like, just.
Well, we're going to be in Atlanta for Revolution and for Saturday main event, so let's just add NXT to it.
Yeah, it's like, for what? For what? To openly hurt them?
I think.
And I understand MJF, you know, he's doing the smart thing and being like, well, that's expected. Yeah, I know, understand it's to be expected. But it's fucking petty shit. We're at a point where it's just fucking stop, guys. Come on.
It's not even the fact that it's petty. I think, truthfully, what they want to do is they want to control a narrative. And the narrative is look at us, look at us, look at us, look at us. Don't look at them, look at us, look at us. And it's like, okay, but what? And I think they feed this online vitriol that a lot of people have of, we like this show better, we like that show better, we like this promotion, we don't like this promotion. And I think doing this feeds that. And it's unfortunate, because you and I were talking before we started the show how we don't need to think like that. Watch what you want to watch. If you want to watch All In, or I want to watch All In, and somebody else wants to watch NXT because it's the WWE show, great. Good for you. Watch what you want to watch. Don't worry about what I want to watch or what you want to watch. First of all, for you and I, we're pundits. We're probably going to watch all of it. We gotta have to.
Yeah, I'm going to. But I mean, at the same time, with, you know, because I'll be quite honest, a few years ago, I fed into the shit. I fed into the bullshit because,
well, this was also a time when he's taking pot shots at WWE.
It was just,
he was feeding it himself.
But also, too, he should have. I would have done the same thing because of the product and how bad things had gotten. Yeah, you're the new kid on the block trying to take a swing.
Hold on a second, I'm sorry. I would have done it when he first started from 2019 to maybe like 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
Once Cody left, that's where I would have started to shut my mouth.
Yeah.
But he kept going for a little bit.
But
and at that point, it was stupid because WWE, from that point when Cody joined, probably a little bit before anyways, because Roman was already champion by the time Cody rejoined the company, to, we'll say, maybe late last year, during that time period, he should have just shut his mouth. Because WWE was red hot at the time. And I get it.
And he's been quiet.
He has lately, yeah. For the last several months he has, but not during that time period when he should have been shutting his mouth.
No, he should have been for a while, which at that point it's just reciprocation, and I get it.
100%.
But now it's to the point of, you don't need to do this. You don't need to go after, their biggest show of the year. They're on the stateside. They're not over at Wembley, because that's been the joke or the narrative, right? They did respectable numbers. Yeah, it's not your numbers. It's not your numbers for WrestleMania. It's not going to be your numbers at fucking MetLife. I get it. But don't go after them on their night. It's their day. Let them have their day. I understand if you want to have Saturday night's main event, because by then, if the show's not done by 8 o'clock, Tony, it's an 8-match card. You don't have to have it go 5 hours long. If they want to do Saturday night's main event the same day, that's one thing. Fine.
I mean, it's different times. Like,
it's different times.
That's way different.
If Tony's not done by 8, he's an idiot. And I'll tell him that to his face. If you have a 5-hour show and you start at 3 o'clock and you're going to 8, what the hell are you doing? Wrangle it in, buddy. It's an 8-match show.
I mean, you say that, but if he has a pre-show, if
Mike, I already know he might. I already know it could go to 9 o'clock, right? I already know it's going to probably go to 9 o'clock because,
dude, I'm going to say it
I
this
love
way.
him.
Hold on, I'm going to say it
I
this
respect him,
way.
but at the same time,
if he goes past like 9 o'clock, I'm just going to say it this way. I'm going to need like a coffee and a cigarette because holy crap. Like, I think those two casino battle royal or casino whatever matches, I'm already lost. I just like those already have that chance to go long. And then you have 3 solid matches that could go long here too with Okada and Omega,
that
Moxley
death
and
match
Hangman.
is going to be absolutely nuts.
It is, and that's why I'm saying like
that death match. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be like,
yeah. Yeah, like
stop it.
That's why I'm like,
Stop
I'm
the
gonna
match.
have coffee and a cigarette. It's like, it's jeez. And then again, like we have no idea where Collision's gonna fall. If he's gonna do it before, if he's gonna do it after, if it's gonna be part of an overrun. Like we just don't know. And it's tough because you're again, we're going back to NXT show here. Like the counter programming, like okay, you can push a narrative all you want, but it's your third brand. It's your B players against Tony and Mercedes Moné, against Okada and Omega, against a death match like you said with
Moxley and Hangman.
Yeah, Moxley and Hangman. I don't know why I wanted to say swear for a second.
It's fine.
Yeah, but it's a lot, and MJF is going to be in that casino match, and we might see Darby Allin return. We don't know, but it's heavily speculated. We might see a few women return for the women one. It's a lot, and there's a lot of title matches there where your NXT show is probably going to be like a 2.5, 3 hour show because it's 5 matches.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are 3 titles on the line. The 2 North American Championship, 1 for the men, 1 for the women, and your NXT Championship match. And you also have Blake Monroe, who, like I said, needs to show up. But is the opinion here that any of that is as good as what the AEW show will be? That becomes the question if we're trying to counter programming against All In, which is their biggest show of the year. It's kind of baffling, honestly.
I don't understand it.
I'm not going to sit here and say that the NXT show will be a bad show by any means of the imagination.
No, I don't think it is.
I think it's a good card, for what it is. But I feel like, and I know when we had Manny on, he made the comment about like, well, okay, if you're not watching, the AEW show All In, and you're watching Goldberg and Gunther instead, which we don't have to worry about because it's later, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, look, that narrative is over.
Exactly.
If All In is still going on, like Tony might push it. He might be like, I'm gonna have a 7-hour show.
Oh God,
Which
no.
if he does, then it's like, come on, don't do that. Don't do that, Tony. Don't do 7 hours. But like I at the end of the day, it would be hilarious if it got to like if he got to like 6 hours and we're just like, no. And he finishes it up. He finishes it up at like 9:05.
So
Like, okay.
I'm going to make a point of reference here. At 1 hour and 5 minutes, you just said that into this show. And I want to remind you of that now, because if that happens, I'm going to blame you. Having said that, though, I don't disagree. And again, like, it is funny to kind of think about that a little bit, because, okay, if it does get to that point, again, like I would agree with Manny at that point. Like if you'd rather watch Gunther and Goldberg, all the power to you. I would much rather watch those 3 AEW matches, especially that I mentioned, more than that match.
Yes, I agree.
Having said that, I'd rather watch that than this NXT card. And it's funny to say that, given how you and I are both more on the WWE camp, but it's just it's Okada and Omega. Like,
Yes.
I'd much rather watch that than, I'm sorry, Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, which I feel like is going to be a great match, or Javon Evans and Jasper Troy. I think it's going to be a fun match too, but it's not checking any boxes for me that Okada and Omega is going to catch. So
It's not hitting, guys. It's
yeah,
not hitting.
I think for an NXT show, it's serviceable. It's just, if you're trying to counter programming, this isn't it.
No,
But
it's not it at all.
I'm trying really hard not to talk about this next show, but I don't think we unfortunately have much of a choice.
Let's get on with it.
So Saturday Night Main Event. Again, I will start from the bottom, because when these are put on
Thermite
Wikipedia-
paint. No, Jesse, not that. No, we're not talking about that.
We'll talk about Jesse too.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the Gulf of Tonga? No, we're not. We're not talking about that, Jesse.
Your Jesse's not bad.
You?
What?
Are you?
We're
Thermite
talking about
paint.
Down in the Baja?
The Baja.
the Baja.
We'll go down to the Baja.
Been really flu.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, you got cramps in your foot. This poor woman has had nothing to deal with pain
It
this
stinks.
past week. Just a string of bad luck.
Probably it was my own fault.
Part of it was, but when you wake up with shoulder pain and you're just like, I'm going to use the massager, and then that same massager decides to screw you over, and then you get
Worst rub burn of your life on your back.
yes, and then
Wow, that's annoying.
then women issues happen during the week as well. So it's like just cramps, and you're asking me on the show. I'm actually checking it live, folks. Well, it shrunk quite a bit. Nah, it's the same. Not that angry. How's it feel when I touch it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a good thing. Yeah, it looks better. It looks a lot better.
Sweet.
Sorry. Yeah. I love you. Yes. That was Stephanie's cameo, folks. She'll be, oh God, Saturday, she's going to feel like, how the hell am I going to?
We'll just plug her up with food and
Yes, I believe Mac is coming over.
and that.
She's like, what? What? Oh, okay.
I can't even hear her. So
She's probably going to stay in the bedroom
yeah, I kind of figured
with the
that.
AC. She'll be fine.
I figured that either AC, television, food, and
Smoke.
will be good for her.
I don't know if it's going to be hot. It might be sunny.
Oh, there you go.
She wants me to check the weather.
Well, as you check the weather, I'll go through the card. So, again, top from bottom on Wikipedia before the event, because for whatever reason, this is how they list them. The first match listed is for the U.S. title. Solo Sikoa defends against Jimmy Uso. Next match was announced on Monday Night Raw, I believe. Or SmackDown, actually. Sorry. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. The next singles match will be LA Knight against Seth Rollins, which CM Punk is oh so happy about. And booked as the retirement match of Goldberg for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther defends against him, against Goldberg.
Not 1998, folks.
Yep. So the only thing I'm going to add here, because this is what happened last time, and I'm willing to bet this is what's going to happen again, because I do not think Goldberg lasts 10 minutes. We will probably get a women's match added on Friday Night SmackDown.
Probably. Goldberg might have a bigger, like, ovation time. Like, people, like, cry. Like, I understand the
I
sentiment.
hope they do cry.
I understand the sentiment.
I don't.
I understand the, I don't.
That's right, Homer. Boo this man.
You'll never get over it, are you? We'll never get over it. We're just automatically like, Nate, we understand how wrestling fans come at Bret Hart, right? I understand your idea of him being like, oh, well, he's just bitter. It's like, no.
I think
I don't consider him bitter.
No. Listen, I even if he is, I don't care. I think it's deserved. I think Bret has every right to be bitter, because I almost said it another way, which is why I paused there. I think that, especially at that time, Goldberg was unsafe. I don't think he was safe, and I think that was one of those times that it was proven. And there have been multiple interviews, documentaries, and everything else under the sun where Goldberg has been painted as such, that he had no idea what the hell he was doing. Mm-hmm. And
he's even admitted.
That's 100% what I was about to say. So there was, during that documentary about the death of WCW, he himself tells the story of Scott Hall being like, what are you doing? And him basically answering of, I have no idea. And this is that same time period where he hurt Bret Hart. Watch out for the boot. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, now I know what that means. Like, it's funny. So, just real quick tangent for a second. There is that picture out there of the last Saturday Night main event where Jey Uso kicked Logan Paul square in the face. And it was very evident. Like, you see the picture. That is more or less what happened with Bill Goldberg and Bret Hart. But where Jey Uso kind of does stop the kick a little bit, even though in that case he did not, Goldberg kicked right through Bret's head. It did not look good, and obviously, as we know, Bret got a concussion, and pretty sure he got some neck issues after that, too. There's
got a stroke in 2002, I think, as well.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
There are other people that have not had great matches with Bill Goldberg. I think Bill Goldberg, and yes, I'm saying it that way because of Bret, because it's funny as hell. I think Bill Goldberg is incredibly overrated. And he has been, in my opinion, very fortunate to work with some of the best in the industry, given the time where he was very popular and had his very long, not so undefeated streak and his world title run.
I think when I saw this on the docket, that a discussion about Goldberg's legacy was probably going to be the heavy prevalent thing about the show, because I'm really not excited about the show. There's some matches on it that are decent, but at the same time, it's something that they could put on Monday Night Raw or another PLE, and it would be something I'd want to check out. Like Rollins and LA Knights.
I 100% disagree with that. I would not watch it if this was a PLE.
I'm talking about like some of the matches on the card.
Okay, so the only one I would argue is LA Knight and Seth Rollins and Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre.
Those two matches on the card, yes.
Yeah, I don't care about Solo and Jimmy. I didn't even know it was on the card until they popped Wikipedia earlier.
I understand. I was doing the same thing. But my thought process with this is I knew the heavy conversation of this was going to be the legacy of one Bill Goldberg. The fact is that Goldberg did have a hot run. You cannot deny his success in 1997, 1998, 1999. You cannot deny that success. But I also can't deny the success of 1988, 1989, 1990 for the Ultimate Warrior. Guys have hot runs. Guys have hot runs where they look like they're going to be the next big one. They look like they are going to be the next guy that's going to lead the next generation of talent. No one looks at Bill Goldberg from this past generation or this next generation incoming that wants to wrestle like Bill Goldberg. They're not going to adapt the spear from him. It's going to be from Roman Reigns, Braun Breaker, not from Bill Goldberg. The jackhammer, hopefully Jade Cargill, who actually does it better than Bill Goldberg ever did. Hopefully she'll make that her. Bill Goldberg has been able to make a lot of money for limited skills in ring.
John Cena.
Even more, I got to give it to Cena at least.
No,
Cena at least was
I'm kidding.
Cena at least was a better worker. Not saying much, but he was.
No, it's not saying much.
It could at least work 40 minutes. Goldberg was lucky he could wrestle 10.
Outside of the legacy commentary, which I don't think you're wrong to bring it up. My biggest gripe here is that you're billing it as a retirement match. However, it's for the world title. And on top of that, why does he get a world title shot when it's his retirement match?
Yes.
And even if you take that out of the equation, and listen, like, you and I were both happy that Jey Uso dropped the title back to Gunther. We were both happy about that. But your first opponent coming out of that is fucking Bill Goldberg? Like, what are we doing, guys?
This is to pop a number for NBC, which this is going to do decent. Because there is that aspect.
There are people that love him still.
Plus this is an entire generation of casual wrestling fans that are just like, hey, remember that guy? You know, they're going to want to show their kids. And I get that, right? I get all that. I get the sentiment, right? But you never had this big send-off for Randy Savage. You never did it for Hogan. Never did for Bret Hart.
I mean, there are reasons for those.
I understand for the Hogan thing, but like,
no,
at least
I mean
for in
all of
ring
them.
is what I meant.
For all of them. But I understand where you're going with it. It's just
Why this
think,
fucking guy? Why this guy?
Because of the next comment I'm about to make, it's just a different time, and I think that is vehemently recognized by people like Triple H, people like Nick Khan, and to your point again, because I don't think it's the wrong comment to make. It's 100% the right one. They are trying to pop a number, and I think having a guy like Goldberg and the notoriety that he had in the industry, I think is a move that I think people can understand. But I also feel that if we look at his body of work, he's also very polarizing. Because of the stuff that he's said in comments over the years, whether it be in that Death of WCW documentary, whether it be, those fans of Bret Hart, or whether it be comments he made about Asuka during her undefeated run, which totally unnecessary.
Totally.
It like who cares? You were undefeated, she's undefeated. Who cares? Dude, you weren't even undefeated. You lost at house shows, for Christ's sake.
Yep. There were also inflated numbers.
100%. It changed weekly. It's just, who at the end of the day really cares? Like, I look at Cena and the 17 world titles. I don't care.
Don't care.
Now Rick will inflate his numbers. I don't care. I'm going to look at the quality of your championship run more than the fact that you were champion 17 times. That's exactly how I look at Goldberg. I look at your breadth of work. I don't look at the fact that you had this, again, non-undefeated streak that you claim you have, which you really didn't. I don't care about that. I look at the quality of your matches, which honestly at times was subpar. I look at your world title run, which was propped up by the NWO, let's be real. And then I look at some of the matches you had in WWE, which, listen, your quote-unquote last retirement match was another world championship that you lost in Saudi Arabia to Roman Reigns. And you looked like shit. And this was...
you have.
Yeah.
The last 7 years.
Yep. And this was 3-4 years ago at this point. You did not look good. Like, why is... Like, I get it, man. You want to have a retirement match. You want it to be in your hometown. This checks those boxes. It should not be for a world title. I'm sorry. Hunter, I don't know what you have stopped doing over the last 6 to 8 months. Please go back to what you were doing before the Rumble. Please.
Where was the 2003 Hunter? When you didn't want to put this guy over. When it was just like, instead of putting him over at SummerSlam, you buried him, hitting her with a sledgehammer. Where is that Triple H? Instead, we're going to prop this guy up when you know he shouldn't be going. When you know that the barn it's over. It's been over. It was over in 2017. It's over now. It's over. It's been way past over. This was done 8 years ago. Trump was in his first goddamn term. But what are we still doing? We're still doing this now? And so you're going to sacrifice a generational talent for this guy? For what, one night?
Listen, I did not want the match between Gunther and Pat McAfee.
Give me a break.
Well, here's my analogy, right? I did not want the match between Gunther and Pat McAfee. Even looking at how the match went, I thought it was decent for what it was. I still didn't like it because you're codifying Pat McAfee at the expense of Gunther. This guy was just world champion. He does not need to face a commentator to a match that really should have been booked as a squash match. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Gunther win? Yes. It should not have been to make Pat McAfee look like a legitimate threat. Just saying. It shouldn't have been. This is the exact same thing as that match. This is not going to get booked as a squash match. Goldberg's going to look convincing, but Gunther is ultimately going to look convincing in his win. It should not be to codify Goldberg in his last match. It just shouldn't.
No.
And again, I would love to ask the question of who wants this match, but I just know there's a segment of that population that does want this match.
Yeah. And they'll get it, they'll enjoy it, and fine, whatever. But
I'm much more excited about LA Knight and Seth Rollins and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre.
I am. That'll be a fun part of it. Hopefully the show doesn't run till the AEW show doesn't run till 9:30, where all we have left is Gunther and Goldberg.
I mean,
it's like, no!
We might need
the worst part of this!
Listen, man, we might need that coffee and cigarette, though. We might need that coffee and cigarette, so if we are hanging out, we might have to watch this the next morning, because...
Bro, I'll be in a coma by the fucking end of this.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be like,
but at least, hopefully, we'll be rested for the next day. Hopefully, we'll be rested for the next day when Evolution takes place.
Yeah, it's somewhat rested, but depressed at the same time.
I won't be depressed. I'm not the biggest fan of the card, but I'm not going to be depressed.
Smoke.
Sorry.
Where the fuck am I going to find my goddamn, like, because I'm thinking about Sunday, and I'm just like, because we were talking about my pre-show and the devastating news.
Oh, God, I know.
The Old Village Grill in Fiskdale, Massachusetts has permanently closed. I had to bring the devastating news to Stephanie yesterday, and before the show, I had to bring the devastating news to my co-host of the program, Mac, and immediately he was just like, now I don't even want to do the show. And it's just like, yep, that's kind of how I feel.
You just took the air completely out of the room.
It wasn't even on my intention, because it's just like...
So hold on. So listen, like, obviously, I have not lived in Massachusetts for a number of years. However, anytime I go visit, and it's early enough, you and I or other people would go there, right? Especially if you're local to the area, because you live about 20, 30 minutes away from there, give or take, obviously on traffic. I remember taking somebody else there and spending way too much money because they got a meal that was just unnecessary, in my opinion. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. It was such a great place. You have these restaurants, and I feel like this is especially true when it comes to like breakfast food. There's places that do certain things right with breakfast food, whether it be the pancakes, whether that be bacon, even eggs, right? There are people that just, you go there, the eggs are runny, the bacon is stringy and not like crispy, like all this stuff, man. And especially too with breakfast food, like I said, it's hard to find a great breakfast place. This place did everything right.
Perfect.
And
they did everything right.
Yeah, and literally as I'm thinking about, maybe seeing Dan this weekend, and if I do, I'm probably going to spend the night. It's going to be a long fucking Saturday. What are we going to do for breakfast the next day? We went to this one place a couple weeks ago when I was up there for something else. It was very good. It was very, very good, but it wasn't this place.
No.
So I'm thinking, like, okay, we could try something like that again, I wouldn't hate that. Maybe we try something different from there. Try something new. See if it's another breakfast place. But it's not Old Village. It wasn't gonna be Old Village.
It's not gonna be Old Village.
So then I'm thinking, like, okay, we'll do Old Village. Screw it, whatever. Like, I like stuff from there. And then Dan breaks the news to me. after I've already kind of been thinking about this for a little bit, and I'm just like, well, that just takes the air out of the room.
That was the thing, because it's like this weekend, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, that actually could work, because he comes, and then I'm just thinking about it. I'm just like, great. Sunday will be great because it'll be start today, and then I can watch Evolution. And then it's just, you go on to Facebook and you just see the news, and you're just like, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm thinking, like, if we don't watch one of those shows, because invariably we're gonna miss one show on Saturday.
Yes.
Right, whether that be All In, whether that be NXT, we don't know. We'll figure that out. Probably going to be NXT. We're not going to want to stay up to watch it after Saturday Night Main Event. So, all right, awesome. We'll grab takeout from Old Village. We'll come back. We'll watch it with food. It'll be great, right? It may not be as fun, obviously, for Stephanie if we did that, but she'd be happy with the food at least. And then you tell me that, and I'm just like, God. Well, fuck.
I now have to do a little thinking this weekend, and also ask around some local friends to see if I can scrounge up a decent place around that maybe don't have to go into Worcester for it. I don't think we do this time, though. I was able to find that elusive thing that we needed to get for in Worcester. The place locally that I have here in town, they had it. So, no having to do that wild goose chase.
Speaking of which, we might have to do that anyways on Saturday.
Oh, that's fair.
I may or may not have to ask you to go in, and I will give you money because I have finally went through the process of changing my ID over, and I still do not have the permanent one, and I still only have a temporary ID, so I'm waiting on that.
That is fair.
So I actually may end up calling them Saturday and inquiring if they will allow me in with said temp ID, so I don't have to ask you to do that, but I might
have to go in there 3 days in a row, because I might have to talk to the missus tomorrow to be like, so if whatever you need to order, I need to order it today, because tomorrow I have to go in for certain people.
I mean, you can always go back. I mean, listen, they don't care how much you buy in a day as long as the time that you were there, you were buying under set limits. But I digress, because obviously we're talking about
smoke.
But so again, Sunday is
Massachusetts doesn't care. They're getting their money. Count.
Money,
Give us our money.
But yeah, Saturday Night Main Evolution on Sunday. Just again, we'll just go through these matches really quickly. Again, bottom to top. So we start with the triple threat match, apparently, that has been announced since Bayley and Lyra pinned each other a couple weeks ago. It'll be the two of them against Becky Lynch, and Becky is probably going to retain. The next match is Naomi and Jade Cargill in a no-hold-barred match. Trish Stratus versus Tiffany Stratton for the women's championship.
Sorry.
No. See, now that you said 88 miles per hour earlier, all I can think of now is Marty McFly with the almanac. Ooh la la! Ooh la la!
How many Back to the Future references can they make in one show?
That's at least two.
A lot.
Yeah. We
Don't tempt us.
Yeah, we could shoot for more. I'm going to skip this next match for a second. The next match is a fatal four-way for the women's tag team championship, women's world tag team championship, excuse me. It is the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez defending against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Sol Ruka and Zarya, so they are pulling double duty for the weekend, not for the day at least. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. So that's going to be insane, I'll say that.
That's going to be a fun match.
Yep. So we'll
Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, all of a sudden, my mind is like, give them the titles.
Yeah.
Why not?
I I don't know what they're gonna do here. This could go. I feel like that match could go any which way, honestly.
By the way, Charlotte gets the most negative comments
I
about
did see
her
that reported today.
in pro wrestling. Like her and Nia Jax were the top two. Oh, and Mercedes Moné is in the third spot.
Those are rookie numbers for her. She's gonna bump that up. We'll go back to that later. So I want to go back to the battle royal for the women's championship opportunity.
Participants to be announced.
Well, we know a few already. So there'll be a battle royal. The winner wins a women's world championship match at Clash in Paris, which is set to be, I believe, late August. There are two more matches. I'm going to reverse the order of these. So the first one is for the NXT Women's Championship. JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. And there's also a Women's World Championship match. Io Sky is set to defend against Rhea Ripley.
Brother.
So
Rhea must pose.
yeah. So Nikki Bella has already kind of announced this past Raw that she will be in the Battle Royal.
Ew.
I feel like a couple other people might be as well that they just haven't announced yet.
Are we gonna see Brie mode?
So my understanding is that she was in talks. I don't know if a deal was signed or not.
There's also a little bit because again, I have been looking at WWE Vault, and lo and behold,
I know.
there is a playlist or kind of compilation of one's AJ Lee.
Yep.
Also sparking rumors. Is she going to make an appearance on Sunday night? Honestly, that probably might be one of the only things that could make the show extremely memorable. And it's not because of the talent.
Well,
I think
they have, and bringing up AJ Lee in that context is a great move because I think they have a lot of opportunities, kind of like AEW does on Saturday with those Casino Royal matches. This Battle Royal is a huge opportunity to insert ladies from Raw, from SmackDown, from NXT, but also from TNA.
yes.
And you have a lot
Legends,
of talent.
free agents.
Yep. I was gonna say you have a lot of legends or former talent that you have released over several years. Mandy Rose, that Victoria's another one. Yeah, she signed a Legends deal that you could put into this match and make it something truly special. And AJ Lee is one. Brie is one of them. She does sign a deal, which, again, there are talks that she might. I just mentioned Mandy Rose. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be phenomenal if it did. Shotzi got released last year. That's another one. You have just a huge opportunity here to introduce women that have not been seen regularly on television, whether it be in their own company or have it be somebody in TNA. I just think it's a massive opportunity, and I just hope they don't waste it.
I hope they don't either. The problem is I'm looking at the show right now and I'm thinking to myself, you have done a great disservice to the people that are involved already, considering the fact that it hasn't sold well compared to other PLEs. It is the lowest selling PLE in the company since 2019. Of course, the upgrades emails have been making their rounds online from people who bought into the show.
Also,
a lot of them going from the upper levels now to the lower levels because it hasn't sold well. Right. And again, I do not blame this on the talent. I blame this on the promotion.
We'll talk about that in a second. So I just scrolled a little bit further. My apologies, and they do have some announced participants for this. So I just want to read through this a little bit. Some of these I knew about. I knew about Stephanie Vicaire being in this match. The battle royal, excuse me.
She is my density.
No,
3.
no comment.
3.
No comment. So she's one of them. Nikki Bella, obviously, I already mentioned. Apparently, there are other ones too that I didn't even know were potential announced already. So I'm just gonna go backwards since I already read Stephanie Vicaire here and Nikki Bella. Another one or the next few are Candice LeRae, Julia, Selena Vega, Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame, Lash Legend, Lola Vice. Maybe we can see, a butt clap again. Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Nia Jax, and Ivy Nile. So listen, like, that's a lot of talent. It does not say what world championship would be defended at Clash in the Castle.
No.
Or Clash in Paris, excuse me. We don't know if that could be an NXT title, if an NXT talent wins. We have no idea. They're not going to tell us that. I think in saying all of that, I think you only really have like 2 or 3 choices among just that group so far. And unfortunately, Nikki Bella has to be one, which I really hate to say it that way, but it is the truth. I think the other one is probably Stephanie Vicaire. You could make an argument for Julia, but Julia just won the U.S. Championship on SmackDown. I don't think it's going to be her. Zelina Vega can't get a paper bag over at this point. I don't think you're gonna.
Sad to say, but it's true.
It is true. Candice LeRae, I don't think there's anything there at this point. If you're sticking her with DIY, which you should have kept her with Nia Jax. Nia Jax, conversely, I just don't think she needs this to get there. I think she can get there on her own merit. I don't think she needs a battle royal to do it. And I think you have put a massive thaw on Stephanie Vicaire since over the last couple of weeks. A massive thaw. I think she needs this.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, you this on Raw, which I thought was dumb, but you had the match between her and Io Sky, and I think if you are going to do a rematch, it should be for the world title. And it should be a PLE. She doesn't have to win, but she has to be in the match.
I agree with you 100%. They have dropped the ball on Stephanie Vicaire since signing with at least going to the main roster, at least. I mean,
no, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say since World's End that weekend.
Yeah, probably, yeah, since then.
Between that and Money in the Bank, when she was in both matches, since that night, that day, when she did double duty in both those matches at both those PLEs, or whatever you want to call the AAA show, but, I'll call it a PLE. I think since that day, there has been a massive, massive thaw, because you have barely featured her since. And listen, maybe she had, that's what I was going to say. Maybe she was hurt, but you could still do some kind of promos with her. You could still maybe have her come out and talk.
Have a vignette out or something.
Exactly. She's had one vignette since, and it was to basically declare for this match.
Yes.
It's just massive thaw.
Hopefully they'll get her in the right direction. They need to. there are a lot of criticisms you can make about the show, and one of them, and I keep alluding to it, is the simple fact they have done the talent involved a great disservice.
So let's talk about that real quick for a second. There are a few matches that they've built up, but there's others that they really haven't.
They haven't.
Or that the build was weak.
Rhea Ripley and Io Sky is at the top of the list.
I was thinking the same thing, and I hope it doesn't main event because I want to fight the best, and that's you. And then the next week, you don't hear from either one of them. I don't even think they were on TV.
No, I don't think they were either.
That's a weak build for a PLE that you're trying to not only book, period, but book as a primetime all-women show.
A symbolic event.
Yep.
And you have not done a great service to the people involved in the show.
Like, we're calling the show Evolution, but where's the evolution?
There's none.
That's the problem. And you know, I know people are going to sit there and be like, oh, well, it's the evolution's, like, you know, the fact that it's an all-woman show. Yeah, I get that. But where's the evolution of the product with this? You're sticking to, I'm going to say more than two, but arguably two main event talents that could be in a feud in a begrudging tag team together with three other teams.
Yes.
They are two former world champions that do not like each other, and you're sticking them in a team. You are reforming the Kabuki Warriors, which not for nothing. If you didn't see this coming on Monday Night Raw, then I have no words for you. But okay. You just had a solo wrestler kind of package promotion for Kairi Sane the week prior, and now you are immediately sticking her back in a tag team with Asuka. For what? For a spot on the show. I get it. You need a Raw tag team, and maybe this is where you could sit there and say, oh, okay, maybe Brie Bella did not sign a deal because it really should have been the Bella Twins on the Raw slot, and you could book Kyrie in something else as a top tier talent that you were trying to establish her as. It's just, I am not convinced that this show, and I hate to use this term, but I don't feel it's booked in good faith. Because as you alluded to, and you're 100% correct, they're doing a massive disservice with the just hot and cold booking to this show.
Io Sky's championship reign, considering the fact she had a 5-star classic with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and she has not had one title defense until Evolution. It is against somebody that really is undeserving of the championship as far as I'm concerned, because of the fact that she really hasn't beaten anybody to get to that point, and she lost to Io Sky to begin with. Io Sky pinned not only Rhea Ripley to win the championship, but also pinned Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. And all of a sudden now it's just,
well, so
Rhea's.
This goes right back, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but it needs to be said. This goes right back to my gripe about Goldberg getting a world title shot as a retirement match. It goes right back to it. Because, and here's why I'm saying that, right? Because, first of all, you are 100% correct. Io Sky has not had a match since WrestleMania. And if she has, it was against people like Stephanie Vicaire, and it was not for a title. Which, listen, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But where are the title defenses?
She beat two of the best talents that you've had in the last 5 years, and two WrestleMania main eventers in the last 5 years, in one of the best women's matches in company history. And you cooled her off. It's almost like she's had the Ronnie Garvin championship reign back in '87.
My
He
God.
beats Ric Flair, and he doesn't defend the championship again on TV until he loses it at Starrcade. Back to Flair. And I hate to put Io Sky in the same breath as Ronnie Garvin, but I feel like that this reign is almost like Ronnie Garvin in 1987.
I mean, listen. Here's my biggest problem with this, and this is kind of why I mentioned Goldberg and Gunther. And I really hate to throw this in the air because I know it's going to happen at this point, and I really kind of don't want it to. After this week, as we review these shows next week, we typically do that on Thursday. We typically release on Friday, depending on any editing we might need to do, any cleanup we might need to do. As of next Friday, so some people will listen on a Saturday, so we'll say that. It'll be 2 weeks from that Saturday, will be SummerSlam. So first of all, fuck our lives, because just like every other weekend at this point.
Can I get a fucking break?
Yep.
Ah!
But having this show approximately 3 weeks from SummerSlam, if Rhea wins, I might just kind of throw my hands up. Like, you've done the same thing at this point with Jey Uso, where Jey Uso kept it for a while. Yes, a transitional champion who dropped it to Gunther. Gunther then is going to face Goldberg immediately, which was my gripe earlier. And then he's going to walk into SummerSlam and have a great feud with somebody, probably. Which, listen, that's fine. Okay? I am okay with going to SummerSlam with Gunther as your World Heavyweight Champion. I am more than okay with that. If your plan is to finally, at Evolution, have Rhea Ripley finally beat Io Sky for the first time in a singles competition for the Women's World Championship, so that Rhea can carry it into SummerSlam, I'm just going to throw my fucking hands in the air. It's so unnecessary. Rhea is now in a class of talent that does not need a world title. And I don't say that to be negative. She just doesn't need it to be over. There are certain talent, and I hate to lump Io in this, because I think right now she does need that title. But she needs some fucking title defenses. She doesn't need to just drop the belt. She needs to defend the belt. And they have not done that with her. And now the way you build this up is to just go, I want to face the best, and that's you, so let's have a match at Evolution. Like, why?
It is utterly lazy. It is shallow and pedantic. I love being able to.
I was going to say, look at you using those words. The thing is, you're not wrong, though. Any impressive words aside, you're not wrong. It is, and listen, that's not the only pedantic match on the card.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah, I had to take it and amend it a little bit to make it even more important. Like, you know what? Let's take that. Let's amend it real quick. Let's make it our own. And okay, there we go. But speaking of shallow, again,
oh, you fuck.
Ironically, no, but listen, like I don't have any Wayne's World queued up right now, but like swing, 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 swing. Like that's how I feel with this card, but like
That's the whole show.
yeah, I mean
It's like
it is the majority of the show.
we're just standing on the side. Even Nikki Bella, it's like,
I mean, she still can't work though. I mean,
can, but
at the end of the day, yeah, God did bless her,
yeah, they
and the plastic surgeon did as well.
and us.
Well,
Yeah, but at least she did it right. There's certain people that
I am
like,
not
no.
complaining. I am not complaining.
No,
I'm just.
it's like I
I'm
look
just
at
saying
her and
God.
I'm
just saying God and the plastic surgeon blessed her. Like there's nothing wrong.
because
with
look, you
saying
got to
that.
have good plastic surgeons. Go ask Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, that was why I sighed because I know the route you were actually going with that. I just Trish and Tiffany is just weird. You just had them tag team. Like this is dumb. And then to have Jade come out and
This match is brought to you by Braziers.
I would have said plastic surgery, but yeah, that. I mean, I feel like that's half the card is brought to you by plastic surgery. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, though, like that's just weird. I felt really bad for Jade having to be there while the two of them are having this conversation in the ring last week.
Like, why am I the third wheel?
Yeah, seriously. The whole
It's like,
Naomi thing, I get it, but why are we not done with this at this point? Like, just... you could save it for SummerSlam. You've already teased that you probably will at this point with Jade winning Queen of the Ring. But
she's probably going to cash in on it. We know what's happening.
Yeah, just...
Do we really need this match in between? Probably
that's
not.
my thing. That's my thing with both of them. Tiff and Trish and Jade and Naomi. Like, do we need this? Not really. The triple threat for the IC belt, I thought they cut a good promo on Raw.
Unless Naomi cashes in on Rhea and Io. That would be unexpected and cool.
It would be pretty cool.
I'd actually appreciate that. So let's...
But you know they're not going to do that, though. Come on.
Hey, they might.
I don't
see it. Like, they might. Look, you want to make this show kind of memorable? You want to leave this thing on a high note? There you fucking go. Right there. People are going to be talking about it at the end of the weekend. They're going to be like, holy shit, you see Naomi cashed in?
You know what?
That's how you might save the weekend.
It depends how they place the matches.
If they, which they're probably going to open with Naomi and Jade because Jade's from Atlanta. And so they're going to have her win. And then if you have Io and Rhea finish,
I don't think
close the show out.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be Tiffany and Trish to finish.
I don't know.
Trish is the legend. I think
that's true.
I wouldn't be disappointed if it's Io and Rhea, but I just something tells me it's going to be Tiffany and Trish.
But I just think a cash in against Io and Rhea would kind of save them out of this predicament. Because they really kind of booked themselves into a corner that they really didn't need to book themselves in whatsoever. I love you, Paul. You've done a great job. I'm glad you took over the book. But I have one thing to ask about the last 7 or 8 months. What the hell are you doing? You've had my number. You have my number. Just call me. We'll have the conversation. I won't make fun of you anymore. I won't. I won't do it. I won't do it in front of you, at least, unless I'm at parties and you're just like, "Hey, do me," and I'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Or like, you want to do a prank call? I'll just start calling people as you. Like, I'll just, like, all right, I want you to call Hogan. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Hulk, how's it going? Brother, how's it going? Hey, look, so I want to book you at WrestleMania next year against Roman. Really? Oh, yeah, I'll get straight for it. I'll be ready. Yeah, that's the way we're going to do it. Yep. Promise you 100%. Hang up the phone and we're just both belly laughing. This dumb guy really believes it's going to happen. Come on, Triple H, we'd have fun. It'd be like the DX days again.
Oh my God. Except
me and you. It would be like teenagers just hanging out. We'd just be like, let's do this. Just start harassing. Like, oh God.
I feel like something you just said though prior to your diatribes, Triple H. You said it doesn't really feel like the show that should be, and truthfully, it does feel like it should be like a televised all Raw, all women Raw. or all women SmackDown. I just, that's how it feels. It does not feel like a premier women's show that it should be. Like, you're booking this as a PLE. It is a PLE, but you're booking it like it's just a regular house show with women.
There are also some glaring omissions from this card
That's the
that
problem.
I know are healthy. There are other, like, there's just some people that are on this, that are not on this card, that I'm just like, come on, really? Really?
I mean, we said this before. We said this on the lead up, and we also, when we talked about the participants, like, okay, some of these, like Stephanie Becker, like Candice LeRae, like Nia Jax, Ivy Nile, they should be in the Battle Royal. I don't think a number of them should win, as I mentioned before, but I think that's your way of getting them in. And I think adding a world title shot down the road and sometime late August at, Clash in Paris, I think is, first of all, a good idea. It incentivizes them and incentivizes the viewers to watch, like, oh shit, like, who's going to challenge for the title down the road? But outside of that, it's like, why are we booking some of this? Like, I'm okay with some of the matches, don't get me wrong. I don't think Tiff and Trish is necessary, though, number one.
No, it isn't.
I really don't think Jade and Naomi is necessary. It is to a lesser degree, obviously. It's more necessary than Trish and Tiffany, but you could do this on a regular show. You could do it on Saturday Night Main Event, actually, which would be the better idea. And then that frees up that slot for, I don't know, say like a tag team outside of the Fatal 4-Way. I think the Fatal 4-Way is another good idea. I just hate that they inserted some of this talent to basically just get them on the card. That's how it feels. And I mentioned that with Alexa and Charlotte Flair. Surprised my machine didn't go off. I mentioned it with the Kabuki Warriors as well. That I don't think they need to be in that match to get on the card. And to your point, there's a lot of talent on any of the three major shows, including NXT, that could be on this card instead.
I will say, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I will say also, speaking of Charlotte Flair, I think it kind of, I need to be honest here and open and saying that some of her comments lately that have kind of humanized her, especially the recent write-up, some of the interviews that she's also done, kind of changed my perspective as far as her as a talent is concerned.
She's just that type of talent that people love to hate, though. And
it is,
and I get that
it's
it's a character, and I understand that she plays the character very well. And I think, and we've talked about this with other talent, right? Where there's talent that sometimes blurs the line between their real life version of themselves, I should say, excuse me, and the character that they play on television. And I think that that's something everybody kind of needs to keep in mind. But I feel like with her, those lines are very hard to kind of see through at times, the way they blur. Because of the way she plays her character, yes, but also the fact that she's a Flair. And I think that 100% plays a role. I feel like this arc with Miss Bliss, I'm going to say it that way because I don't want my machine to go off. It can be a very solid redemption arc for her.
Yes,
if they play it right. Because I 100% agree that there has been a lot of humanizing of Charlotte Flair over the last several weeks because of the comments that she made. And I know there's that camp still that are like, whatever, because of the way she is viewed and of all the comments that I just made. But I also think that if we look at other talent, we are so quick to humanize them. that I think we need to give Charlotte that chance to.
I look at the problems she has to deal with too because of the fact that the behaviors of certain people in her life, who I still think is the greatest wrestler of all time, to be quite honest. But every week it's like a tabloid with him where it's something new. I'm just like, oh, great. Something new in Tampa.
Part of me is just like, never change, Rick.
Fun life.
Even after that story, just never change, Rick.
It's like you love him, but at the same time, it's just like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, just stop. Just relax. Just enjoy your golden years. The fact that you're not entirely broke. The fact that like you're getting the credit and gratitude that you should have gotten 30 years ago. You're getting it now because of YouTube and the way that people have found you on through athletes and social media and things of that nature. You've had a new lease on life. You've been able to get back everything that you lost because of bad decisions and because of excess. And now you have your daughter, who, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the greatest to ever do it in the ring. And you can't help her in her career by just stepping back and try to stay out of things. Because that adds to it. That adds to her stress that she really doesn't need. Hearing about her not being able to have children, which I'm sure caused part of some problems with Andrade. The fact that she's had 3 marriages that have gone to terribly. And I'm sure I'm going to hear about it from people, because you can go back a few months ago and say what I've said negatively. Yeah, you're right. But I also am a human being and can look at someone and say, I got to separate the character from the person, because the character, I look at Charlotte Flair and I just think it's nepotism. But I look at Ashley Flair and I think to someone that losing your sibling takes something out of you. I should know. The fact that your dad is one of the best in this, and you decide to go in the industry where your dad is considered by many, including myself, as the greatest to ever do it. And not only do you go into that industry, which you never thought you were going to do, you're kind of living out your brother's dream, who passed away prematurely under terrible circumstances. And you go into that industry and you excel and become at the very top of the industry. And you've had issues with men probably your whole life because your father is Ric fucking Flair. And it wasn't like he was coming home every night and reading you a bedtime story. He was working 60 minutes, 60-minute Broadways in the
There's
ring.
A lot of stuff he was.
He was a lot of
doing.
shit he was doing. Let's face it. A lot of things. A lot of yeah. You know, it's just you. And I got to look at that, and I got to say, okay, because I understand where now as you get older and you kind of look at it and you kind of maybe think about empathy a little bit more in your older age, and you start thinking about karma maybe in a future life. And something that Mac and I talk quite a bit about that we were passed on from our mothers is something called Irish guilt. And you start going back and thinking to yourself,
Oh, shit.
the same things that I used to complain about and the same things that I used to not want people to do about me is the things that I'm doing verbally to people. And I'm not separating the character from the person sometimes. I'm coming out and almost feeling like that I'm taking person. And I thought about it earlier because I was thinking about some of the things I would used to say on a previous show that I used to work for. And I don't think I ever said anything controversial. It's not like I dropped ethnic slurs or anything of that nature. Wasn't like I said anything,
You were
but
more
I said
free with your words. But
I was
wouldn't
more
say
free
you
with my
were-
words, and I said things about people that I look back upon negatively, and I said I probably shouldn't have said that. Charlotte being one of them, Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes is one of them.
I don't think.
Maybe some of the things I said about Tony Khan.
Oh, definitely that.
Definitely that.
I don't.
Not
think,
about Ryback. He can go fuck himself.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I
Yeah.
stand by my 40-minute rant
It's hard
on
not
that piece
to.
of shit.
It's hard not to agree with that. I don't think you ever got to a point with Cody or Brandy. I think we did to a point, but nothing outlandish. And I think some of the criticisms were warranted at the time, especially. I think with Charlotte, it was more towards that nepotism that you thought you felt. Which, listen, I mean, and again, without separating the character from Ashley Flair, as you mentioned, I think it's very easy to make that comparison that maybe there was a part of nepotism there. But what I had always told you is that if it started as nepotism, he has, over the years, and you agreed to this when we had the conversation,
I did, yes.
that over the years she has more than proved that she has deserved and earned the spot that she was able to get.
I did say that earlier when I said that she excelled at the top level of the industry.
Exactly, but I just want to make sure that we clarify that
but I agree.
She has earned it.
Yes.
And again, I think there is still, unfortunately, and you mentioned this earlier when you brought up that she gets the most hate online out of any wrestler in the industry at this point. And I think that is a tribute to how well she plays that character. And again, potentially because she is a Flair. And I hate to kind of say it that way, but you already mentioned all the stuff about Rick that I'm not going to repeat all of that, obviously. But it does play a role and it does take its toll. I think part of the issue again is just that simple separation. When we look at some of that talent that you and I have seen over the years, and Goldberg's another one of them, let's be real, that have that name, have that mystique, have that kind of character development, which I don't think he has on Ape, just saying. But it all adds up. It all gets factored in. And I think that is part of the problem with Charlotte. And I think she plays that mean girl type of heel very well. And she backs it up with her talent. And I think because of that, her very limited face run just doesn't work. I think if she is that, however, and I said this earlier, that this could be a redemption arc for her because she could be a very convincing, reluctant type of babyface. But it's not going to be through fruition of what they were doing before. It doesn't work for her. So, again, I think part of the problem now, especially, is she still is viewed as a heel. People want to view her as that, and they don't want to hear her complaining about her personal life. And listen, at the end of the day, whatever your personal opinion is about Charlotte Flair, about Nia Jax, about anybody else, at the end of the day, they are a talent putting on a show to provide you with sports entertainment. Outside of that, they are still a person, and she is still Ashley Flair, who's going to have her own thoughts, her own feelings, her own emotions that she has to work through. And if she is okay posting that on social media, you should not make her feel bad about that.
We've all had our awkward phases. We have all had our moments where
Hey, I had my awkward moment a couple months ago when I just blabbed my entire personal life. So
or it's just
I get it.
We've all had our awkward moments. We've all had our moments. I'm not trying to.
I'm throwing myself under the bus. That's okay.
I was trying to throw myself too.
Well, I already did.
Because we've all we've all had our awkward moments. We've all had our teenage years that maybe there were some things or girls that we were just like, shouldn't have wasted my time, but I did. But it's there. And I think the issue is that we are reaching a point, and Rhea Ripley talked about this earlier when I read that if you send things to my house, I am not opening it. Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, Nia Jax getting the negative comments, and I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, 99.9% of them is she's fat. That's all that they probably said. It's just, and come on, guys, we got to be better than this. Like, we just do. We got to be better as a society, as wrestling fans, because it's like, to be the worst of the worst as far as toxicity is concerned, when there's so many other fan bases out there that are far worse as far as toxicity is concerned, and we're considered one of the most toxic, we got to do something to check ourselves for a second and just say, hey, guys, maybe it's time that we cut it back a little bit and try to be a civilized society.
It's so hard, I feel like, because I'll talk about the Nia Jax thing real quick in a second, but I feel like it's so hard because I feel like there are so many people out there, and it's not, unfortunately, just the wrestling community. It's everybody who feels that they can hide behind a computer screen, that, oh, well, I'm not going to face any repercussions, so I'm going to say whatever I want. And it's just super unfortunate that that is the type of society that we now live in. Just be nice to each other. I said it earlier when we talked about the difference of what people are going to watch. You want to watch Evolution? Watch it. Don't worry about what other people think. If you want to watch Saturday Night Main Event? Same thing. If you want to watch NXT? Same thing. If you want to watch All In? Same thing. Stop giving a shit what other people post. Stop giving a shit about trying to go out of your way on any of these dates, Saturday or Sunday, to belittle someone and knock them down because they want to watch a show that you're not going to watch. Let them watch it. Let them enjoy wrestling. And the same thing goes for this online vitriol of knocking wrestlers down, whether it be male or female. Just stop. It's unnecessary. If you don't like someone, you don't have to engage with them on social media. You don't have to go out of your way to call Nia Jax fat. That's like calling water wet. She probably knows. I'm sure she looks in the mirror. I'm sure she doesn't care. And she's confident with how her body looks. You don't need to be the one to knock her down. You just don't. You don't need to be the one to make comments that Charlotte Flair is divorced 3 times. Maybe some of that is not her fault. Yeah, okay, we've joked on this show that, okay, 3 times must be you. But that's a joke. You're muted. Sir, you are muted.
I can only imagine the mental anguish that she's already had to go throughout her life anyways.
That too. Yeah.
It's just like, it already is. But then I look at Nia Jax, it's just like, all right, come on, guys. Like, come on. Are we really at that point of just leave her alone?
You know what?
Like, who cares?
Here's the thing for me with Nia Jax, right? First of all, just throwing this out there. I don't care if I get judged for this. For a bigger girl, Nia Jax is incredibly attractive.
Amen, brother.
That is the first thing I'm going to say.
Hey, friggin' man.
The second thing is
Preaching in the choir on that one.
I understand. The second thing is that when Liv got hurt, who carried the company? When
That would be Nia.
Rhea Ripley was hurt, and it was not Liv Morgan on the other show. Who carried the other show for the women talent?
That would be Nia.
That would be Nia Jax. Nia Jax had a phenomenal year last year. Phenomenal. If she was in either of the women title matches at WrestleMania, I would not have been disappointed because of the year that she had in 2024 and how impactful it was. Because, and granted, I know they are friends in real life. The work that Nia did also with Tiffany Stratton was also impactful. It is in no short order here that Tiffany Stratton is now women's champion, in due part because Nia is her friend and Nia was willing to help put her over. She also got Candice LeRae over, not very well, but she still got her over. She tried. And she had great matches with Rhea and with others that year. In late 2023, early 2024. None of that can be understated. None of it. So, if you're going to hate on Nia because of her weight, number one, just go check yourself. Just go look in the mirror. Go touch grass, too, while you're at it. Because I'm sure some of you, myself included, are probably not the best looking people in the world to be hating on Nia Jax. And again, outside of her body image, she is a phenomenal talent.
Mm-hmm.
I know people want to crap on her because of, years prior when she was with the company previously before she came back, but you can tell she is 100% safer, and she is also willing to put in the work to be safe.
Absolutely.
When she stacked, I believe it was Tiffany and Trish a couple months ago, you could tell she is trying to land that Annihilator in such a way that she is not going to hurt anybody. If you go back to War Games and Survivor Series last year, those chair shots were awful, but she did it to keep people safe. Exactly. And a lot of the stuff that she has done around that same time period, you could tell she is trying to be as safe as possible.
It's like that Hulk Hogan chair shot you've seen online.
Yeah.
Where he hits
Tony Schiavone. What?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's just, you can tell that she has put in the work to try to be safe. So
what?
I'm not going to hate on that. What? I'm not going to hate on her. I get it. I really do. There's people that when they see somebody overweight, they make comments and they can't keep them to themselves. But dude, again, go look in the mirror. And even if you are 170 pounds and you're muscular and whatever else, dude, who cares? Keep it to yourself. Didn't so we talked about our moms and the Irish Guild, but did your mother ever tell you if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how some of these people need to start acting. Just saying, if you got nothing nice to say, just shut up.
You know, the thing about that is, though, she used to tell me that. That's when I became a shock jock.
Yeah, and now she doesn't listen to the show because we swear too much. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My dad telling me, it's like, you raised me, I raised you right. It didn't raise you right. I'm like, no, Dad. I was raised perfectly fine.
Well,
you guys did a fun.
Part of the problem is we were also raised by Howard Stern.
I was raised by Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony and like the MTV generation. I'm just like, okay, like it's just how it is.
Yep. It is unfortunately part of our normal vocabulary.
It is. That's why I still listen to shit from over 10 years ago from certain radio shows because, nothing. I don't want to hear the new stuff from other places because it's just like, it's not the same. I don't even listen to Howard anymore because it's not the same.
It's not.
I listen to the old stuff.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, back when Robin was actually funny and contributed to the show.
Boy. Well, I think we've covered really a lot tonight. We have 4 shows we're going to review next week.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do that. It's probably going to be...
We'll have to talk about it. I'm thinking maybe we split them up somehow, but we'll see.
Somehow.
Order
of importance.
I mean, maybe we do the AEW show, then the WWE shows. I think it's... I think personally, at least for what I could say, is I think it's heavily dependent on how these shows go. Right? And that's going to be the case no matter what. But, if we feel kind of like we talked about, ironically, in a negative sense with Night of Champions, if we feel like there's something important that happened in any of these shows, maybe we do something earlier. If we feel there's a lot to discuss, maybe we split them up into 2 shows. We'll have to see. But if they all suck, then I think we just talk about them kind of like we did tonight.
Yeah, exactly. We do it kind of in a which I don't expect all of them to suck. I expect Evolution to do well in ring. I expect Great American Bash to do pretty well. I expect some of Saturday night's main event to be watchable. But in the end, I think it is going to be the weekend of All In. I think people are going to remember this show either negatively or positively, hopefully in a major positive sense. Like I said, you can do maybe one of each. You can do one, but you can't do both. Like you can. That's the way you're gonna look at it. Like you can't have Moxley. You got to take the belt off Moxley. That's a must. And if you got to have Mercedes take everything, then so be it. So, but you have to be prepared. Do not book the Mercedes winning as the closer because you want to end the show on a positive note. You don't want it to be WrestleMania from this year. You want to end it on a positive note. And I think you have the momentum to do it. I think you have the card to do it. So you want to end it on a positive note. So I honestly think that at the end of the weekend, All In Texas is going to be the show of the weekend. We'll figure out what we're going to do programming wise. It's going to be exhausting, but it's going to be fun at the same time. Hopefully this is it for Goldberg. Hopefully this is it for the Moxley reign. And hopefully Evolution overdoes the expectations for the show. Because there's a lot of people that are already kind of looking at that show negatively, which should have nothing to do with the talent involved. I think the talent involved is going to do a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think the talent will show up. Listen, I said it about NXT shows, but the one thing I will say that regardless of where you're watching women's wrestling, it has been a lot better than the male side for the WWE.
It has.
And I think the women's roster, whether it be the main event roster or on NXT, it's completely stacked. It really is. And saying that we have, somebody in Bianca Belair who has not been on television for a while, supposedly there's some kind of injury there. I don't know the full story. I haven't looked, but that's without her, who is another top tier main event talent on the women's side. So the fact that we can have a show like this without her, or maybe she gets booked in the battle royal.
No Liv Morgan
we don't
either.
know. No Liv Morgan either. She's injured as well. So it's just they are so stacked on the women's side, and it's been a better product than the men's side, honestly, in a lot of cases. There is, however, one thing we did not discuss that I want to actually end with, ironically enough. But let's go back to Saturday Night Main Event for a sec. Where do you see Jesse coming out for his commentary?
Probably the Goldberg.
You think
match.
so?
Yeah.
Not LA Knight and Seth Rollins?
No,
I actually thought it'd be that match.
because I think that he might have, more insight on the Goldberg thing because of the older kind of veteran type deal. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly think though that they might have him. That would be my guess, but I wouldn't be surprised either if they do Rollins LA Knight. So really, it's a catch. It's like, I'm like 50-50 on it. Because you bring up a great point, but I don't know. I'd stick that because that's the selling point of the show. Like the whole selling point of that show, that's the poster. That's the,
Yeah, it's true.
that's the image of is his retirement. So you would think having Jesse on that would be important, but I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do.
I gotta actually look at this picture real quick. I think it's funny because it looks nothing like Goldberg looks right now, which I thought is hilarious.
Of course it does. Of course.
It looks like he's 10 years younger. So no one spared, everyone speared is the tagline above his probably like 15-year-old photograph. So And on that note,
you're gonna be like, woohoo!
as soon as Gunther beats him, I will probably stand up and clap. Yeah.
So will Bret Hart. It's about time. It's about time.
I mean, listen, if Bret comes out and screws him, I'll laugh hysterically. But
Bret Hart just comes out, do 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 do, hits him with a chair. Fantastic.
oh no, I want him to go full Nancy Kerrigan on him. Just Tanya Harding right on Nancy Kerrigan. Like that's what I want Bret Hart to do. Just take him out. With
Actually, get a kettle prod. Let's do that again. Fuck it.
Yeah, we could do that again. I'm down.
Yeah, let's do it again. At this point, I'm all for that. Let's do it. So on that note, enjoy the weekend, folks. It's going to be a busy one. If you're an AEW fan, it's your WrestleMania weekend. If you're a WWE fan, there's 3 really good shows, and maybe you decide you're going to check out AEW and check something else out on Sunday, which is probably what we're going to be doing. We don't know yet. So enjoy the weekend. Be better to each other, all that fun stuff. Let's try to treat the women with more respect instead of sending shit to their house like crazy people, because that's not creepy at all. That's not, that's not creepy whatsoever. It's fine. Okay. All right. So enjoy the weekend, everybody. Mac, do you have anything else to close this out with?
No, I 100% agree. Enjoy the weekend. If you want to watch a show, don't let anybody deter you from watching the show you want to watch. If that's All In, great. If that is Saturday Night Main Event, great. If it's Evolution, great. If it's NXT, great. Watch what you want to watch. And as Dan said, definitely be awesome to each other.
Yes. Everybody, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you back next week for either a couple of shows or one big one if it sucks. But we'll be here to let you know. Bye, everybody.